Right now, I can't think of anything more toxic than the YouTube review community of a movie. I mean, these guys, they sit here and they make these long, drawn out videos and they have these thumbnails and they use these big words and exaggerations and they use powerful words too. You got these guys where they'll review a movie and maybe the movie is a letdown from what the hype is. Maybe the movie didn't live up to what it is, or maybe it did to a certain degree. Maybe it was just pretty good, or maybe it was like oh, a movie. You have movies that might, on a real scale, with five being average, come in at a 5.8 or 6, or slightly above average, or nothing special but pretty decent. And then you will look on the YouTube movie review community, and you see these thumbnails where it's like awful. Well, it has like one word, awful, and like a thumbnail picture of like a random scene in a movie. It'll be like garbage, or this movie is terrible, or like why this the opening of the just one like random made up movie. The opening of The Hat with the bag in it is absolutely garbage. And it's like 10, 11 minutes, and it's just like random clips. And the reason they give may be pretty good, and then the other reasons are just like these aren't really reasons that are bad. I could see these could be reasons for improvement, or subject to an opinion on how you can improve. But I wouldn't necessarily say that these are bad, so to speak. Maybe even the reasons you're listing are all right, but they're not bad. They're not reasons the movie is bad. This is like if you made a where you could improve list. But like they'll be just like okay at best on a scale. They're like five of the reasons. But they're giving it to tell you that this movie is unwatchable. This is the worst movie ever. And it feels like every time they review a movie on their channel, they're saying that this is the worst movie ever made, or probably the worst thing they've seen. And really is all for attention, right? It all started a while ago. The horror movie franchises got it worse. They got it worse at first, and then it came the reboot. No, it was the reboot community, reboot movie community. When classics started getting rebooted 20, 30, 40 years later out of respect, they would boycott. They wanted to be the first to say, oh, you should have left it alone, even though it's not going to take away what was already created. Or like, oh, you should have left it alone. This was a classic. It shouldn't be touched. As if like once a new project comes out of that older project, that you can't sit back and go back and watch and appreciate the older project, as if the new one would erase, like physically erase it from history and the internet if this new one is released. Is absolutely insane. So you got these guys where they just started, they wanted to be the first to just say, hey, this was awful, this was awful. And all these people who may have been in the movie theater and thought, oh, it was pretty good, or no, it was okay, or it was like, oh, I enjoyed my time. They come back and then they go to the their big YouTuber who laid out these kind of just mid reasons. And when I say mid, I mean like mid. They're like, they're okay. I see what you're saying. All right, okay. They lay out these mid reasons boldly, and then when they when they put these reasons out, they sit there, and now the person who watched the movie might be like, yeah, maybe it wasn't that good. Bro, yes it was. It was pretty good. You actually enjoyed your time watching that movie. You've been fooled and persuaded. That's a real thing. Persuasion is a real thing. When someone persuades you, it means you had a opinion of your own, or feeling of something, and someone shifted that to something else. You've been persuaded to believe what you've watched, which was actually a pretty decent product on screen, that it was god awful. You've been persuaded, and these guys, like, you'll know they're not credible because everything they review is either really, really good, awful, groundbreaking, and life changing, or they say something is just complete garbage, terrible, unwatchable, don't even do it, flop, terrible, someone should be fired. There's no in between. I've never seen one of these people when they review, and I'm not talking about and there's two types. You got the people who will put their face on cam and they'll give you the 7-minute video, 5 minutes, and you'll see like their background. It's just them, and they're just like, hey, you know, it was pretty good. Will this happen? Those guys I'm not talking about. It's the people, and you'll know. You'll see a thumbnail, and on that thumbnail will have just this bold, brazen word of just terrible, awful, garbage, or unwatchable. And these people you don't see in the movie. I mean, you don't see in that said YouTube video, and they're just showing clips and such. That is the toxic community I'm talking about. That is the people where they're literally persuading thousands and thousands and thousands of people, mainly just for clicks and attention, just to be the first to start a train and to start a movement of this movie's bad, or this movie sucks, or this movie's garbage. Most of them just want that type of attention and affirmation. They want to sit there and be able to sway masses and just be the person able to dictate what other people think. That's really mostly all it ever is. And they're persuading people who've seen a decent product, once again, like I said before, to thinking, well, you know, I thought this was a 6 or a 7. And then they tell you it was a 1 or a 2, when in reality it may be somewhere like deep in the middle, or maybe a 5 or a 6 or 5.5. And they're telling you that these movies are unwatchable, right? They're telling you you can't bear to watch it. And then they'll confuse some people. They'll be like, well, what is a good movie? Because they'll sit there and enjoy that movie and enjoy their time, and then be like, and be told, nah, that was terrible. And you're like, oh, I guess it was terrible. Maybe if I look up, oh, other YouTubers are doing it too. They're saying this is bad. Well, I guess this is bad now. I guess this is, well, never mind. I didn't like it. Well, and then you'll see those comments of certain people like that, and they'll be like, you know, the movie was, I think where the movie could have done better was that, and that's those guys who are easily persuaded, who are easily letting their own opinion be manipulated. You know what I mean? And you got these people now, a product, if the video would have said it was great, comment would have been different. Don't be persuaded.
Fake Tesla, I can teach you how to take some.